For the start of our day 2 mobility program, we're going to start in the kneeling position. So we want to have our core nice and tight, squeeze our bum. The first exercise we're going to start with is the shoulder rotation. So what James is going to do, he's going to bring his arms out to 90 degrees with his body. He's going to make fists, and this is what we call a shoulder rotation exercise. So as you can see here, one arm is going to start facing the ceiling and the other arm is going to start facing the floor. The main goal here is to improve the rotation in the shoulder blade, and you can slowly pause at each end as you rotate around. We're going to do 10 reps here, nice and slow. You should be able to see the shoulder blades slowly moving up and down. So the next exercise we're going to go into is our T-spine retraction. So again, we're going to start in the kneeling position. We're going to make fists with our hands again. Now James is going to reach right out in front first, so you can see his shoulder blades reaching right around his body. Then he's going to retract his shoulders, keeping his elbows bent, come all the way back, really pinch those shoulder blades together, and then extend his arms, squeezing his triceps, and then back into the starting position again. Now we're going to do this 6 times, nice and slow. So reach, retract the shoulder blades, pinch them together, extend the elbows. Again, we want to keep our core and our bum engaged here and control our breathing as best we can. The more we do these exercises, the easier they're going to get, and the more mobility we can get in our shoulder blades, particularly if we're sitting at the desk. The last exercise we're going to do in this position is called the swimmer stretch. So James is going to make fists with his hands again. He's going to reach straight up overhead. Now he's going to slowly internally rotate his arms as he brings them down behind his back. As you can see, shoulder blades are pinched together, and then he's going to bring his hands in, try to keep them off his lower back, and then slowly back around again. We're going to do this 5 times. Now this is a very difficult exercise, so don't worry if you can't get through the full range of movement. All the way, reach around, and we really want to engage our shoulder blades here, nice and slow, in, reach. And we'll do 2 more. And relax. The next exercise we're going to do on our day 2 mobility program is our 1990 stretch. So if you look closely to James's position here, he's going to bring his front or his left leg out in front. It's going to be in a 90-degree position, and his back leg is going to be the same. What we want him to do in this position is to reach right out in front, and he's going to hold that position for 20 seconds. Now if you can't get as low as James, that's absolutely okay. This is going to be a work in progress over the next while. So your back leg is down at 90 degrees and your front leg is the same. We're going to do 5 more seconds, and then we'll show it to you on the other side. And if you come up, and if we do the same on the other side, James. So as you can see it now from behind, so he's sitting on his right leg or his right glute, 90 degrees. If you try to bring that left knee a little bit closer to your right foot, James, and there we go. So 90 in the back, 90 in the front. Again, we're going to do 20 seconds here. Nice, slow mobility. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to go on to is called scorpion. So James is going to lie face down. He's going to reach his both hands out on his side, and he's going to reach around with his left leg all the way back and around. He's going to do that every second side. We're going to do 6 off each side. So slowly around, he's trying to reach his left leg all the way around towards his right hand. And you're trying to keep your torso and 2 hands in contact with the ground at all times. And we're going to do 6 each side here. Nice and slow. Again, controlling your breathing as best you can. Once we have this done, the next exercise we're going to go on is called our fire hydrants. So we're going to assume the 90-90 position. Hands are directly under our shoulders, knees are directly under our hips. And you see what James is going to do here now. He's going to lift his left leg up to the side, rotate around, and then slowly back into the start position. We're going to do 8 reps on each side, so we're really trying to open up that hip capsule as best we can. Big reach, rotate, and around. And again, you can see that James is assuming a neutral spine position, so his core is engaged. We don't want him to, if you arch too much, we don't want to assume this position, as we'll be feeling a little bit of a pinch in our lower back. So stomach is engaged, neutral position, and big rotations up and around. 8 on each side here. Again, nice and slow. Try and make the rotations a little bit bigger each time. As you get better, you can bring your knee right in towards your chest as you start. So in towards your chest, around, and really try extend that hip at the top. Big reach, there we go. A little bit bigger now on this side on the circle, James. Up and around, much better. That's the full movement we're getting. We'll do 1 more on each side. The next exercise we're going to do is we're going to assume the half kneeling position. So we'll just pop up the camera a little bit. James is going to go his back foot. You can see his toe is turned in, his glute is engaged, his stomach is engaged. What he's going to do here is he's going to reach his 2 hands straight out in front, and then he's going to do an open book stretch out and around, squeeze his shoulder blades together, and back to the start position. So he's going to do 5 reps in this position. It's really important here that James's right glute is squeezed, his back toe is tucked underneath his foot, and his core is engaged. And as you can see, there's a nice straight line from his ear to his shoulder, hip, down to his knee. Same on the opposite side. So we're going to do 5 reps here again. Reach around, big reach, slowly back in. Big reach around, slowly back in. And we're going to do 5 reps here again. The next part of our mobility series is our dynamic mobility. So you're going to go into the standing position. The first exercise is our deep squat and reach. So James is going to do front facing for the first 5. He's going to sit as deep as he can and then reach right up overhead. And he's going to maintain that squat position as he reaches and squeezes his shoulder blades at the top. We're going to do 10 all together here. Just to get a view, James, if you can go side on. So as you can see, he's squatting down all the way deep into his hips or as low as you can, and then reach up behind your head. We're going to do 3 more. Perfect. The next exercise we're going to do is the side lunge. So James is going to face the camera, 2 feet pointing towards the camera. He's going to step out to the side. His trail leg or his left leg in this position is going to stay straight, and he's going to sit right into that right hip. And then he's going to pop back up, down, step out, sit back, and we're going to hold the bottom of this position for 5 seconds. Back up, we'll do 2 more on this side, and then we'll do the other side facing the camera, just so we can see James's torso position. So hold for 5, back up, and then 1 last one, out, toes pointing forward, hold for 5 seconds. Perfect. So James is going to go side on to the camera now, and we're going to do the same on the left hand side. So his right leg is going to stay straight, torso nice straight line, hold for 5 seconds. As you can see, James is making a fist with that left hand, and then back in just to get that good upper back retraction. And back up, and 1 last one, down and back up. The next exercise he's going to do is a reverse lunge with a reach. So we want to start in the tall position again, stomach engaged. We're going to reverse lunge back, step back, 1 inch above the ground, reach straight up overhead, and then back into that position. We're going to do 5 on each side here. Again, all the weight is through that front heel. Nice and slow. The best bet if you're doing these at home is, if you get a chance, is to video yourself or get someone videoing them and having a look at your positions. And it is going to be 5 on each side here. Okay, we've got 1 more exercise. So we're going to go 2 feet together. What we're going to do here is James is going to stand on his left leg. He's going to slowly reach his right leg back and behind him like a single leg deadlift position. Slowly down and then back up again. So reach back to 45 degrees if you can, and then back up. So it's really sitting into that front hip. Again, if these are causing any pain, stick with the reverse lunges for now. So we're going to do 4 on each side here, James, and then we're going to do 1 more round of that. So nice and slow, up tall. Brilliant. Perfect. So we're going to go back into our squat and reach again. So it's 10 reps here. We should be a little bit looser on this round. So we're going to sit deep, and it's 10 reaches in this position. That's it, big retraction at the top. The next exercise then is we are back into our side lunge again. So sit down. Try to get a little bit deeper into the hip this time if we can. And James is after adding in a reach this time. So it's just to make it a little bit more difficult. Down, reach, up, overhead. So our upper back should be really opening up at this point. That's it. Nice and slow. And with these, we want to be as relaxed as possible for all these mobility exercises. We're going to do the same on the other side. James is going to do side on again. So if you have a look at his torso, nice straight line from his ears to his shoulder all the way down to his hip. And all the movement comes in that hip joint. So you're sitting into that hip and trying to increase its movement capacity. Okay, one last one. We are facing the camera then again, so we have our second last exercise here. It's our reverse lunge with our reach again. So step back, hover 1 inch above the ground and reach up overhead. Again, we don't want our head looking down at the ground, looking straight at the camera is what we want James to do here. It's a little smile. And reach. I can do one more side on for me, James. Just so everyone knows. So side on, and he reaches up overhead, and same on the other side. Step back and reach. Again, we're going to do the last exercise side on as well. So we're going starting in a tall position, 2 feet together. James is going to go reverse lunge to a 45-degree angle. So he's reaching back and behind, slowly back and tall. So if you do 2 each side here for me, James, and then we'll do 2 each side in the forward position. If you face the logo for the last two, so if you just spin around, so we just get an idea from the back angle. So we start nice and tall, reaching back and behind, there we go. Back and behind, slowly down, maintain that control, one more each side. That will then be the end of our mobility section, and we're going to move on to our core section and relax. Okay folks, so for the core part of this routine, we're going to start in the push-up position. We're going to do 2 rounds of this all together. So we're going to start push-up position, knee tucks. We're going to go 10 and 10. As you can see, James has a nice neutral spine. Each time he brings his leg up, he squeezes his opposite glute. So nice and slow. James is going to slow it down a little bit for us. This is going to take approximately 10 minutes, this core routine. So just keep engaged. Nice and slow. Hands are directly under our shoulders. Once we have this done, we're going to go back into the push-up position. So we're going to go straight into our shoulder touches. Tuck and squeeze our hips again. Opposite hand to shoulder. We're going to do 10 and 10 here again. Slow and controlled. Again, nice neutral neck position. For anyone who carries tension in their shoulders or into their neck, this is very important. That's it. And again, we want as little movement from the hips as possible. The next exercise, so we have one last exercise in the push-up position. So we're going to get back into the push-up position again. This is a little bit harder. This is called our high Superman. So we're going to go opposite arm, opposite leg, slowly off the ground. Again, most important thing here is to maintain that core control. As you can see, a little wobble from James. You're going to be a little bit shaky, especially when you're tired. It's not his best exercise. So 6 on each side, nice and slow, nice and controlled. This is the most advanced of the 3 in the push-up position. And we're doing 6 and 6 here. Brilliant work. Once we have this completed, we're going to assume a side plank position. So elbow directly below our shoulder. So we're going to start in this position. If you're finding this a little bit easy, James is just going to show us a high side plank position. So this is for the more advanced. If you find it a little bit easy, you can start in this position. But for the exercises, we're going to do it on our elbow. So with this, elbow or hand is directly below our shoulder. We're going to go 10 T-spine rotations first. So reach underneath our body, right, up and around. Underneath, up and around. And it's 10 reps here, and deep breath around. Once we've that done, we're going to go 10 hip dips next. So slowly down, up and down. Again, James is going to push his hips towards the camera. And we've just got that small little movement up and down. We're going to feel a burn now at this stage. Once we've 10 done, next one is our knee tucks. So in, knee all the way to the chest. You can see the pain in his face. We're going to then do the same on the other side. So this is the hardest part of it. Especially if you've done, like James here, you're on to session number 15 of week 1 of the home program. The advice on recovery we have been getting is from James's mother, who suggests an Epsom salt bath is what he needs. So if anyone else is in his position, you can also go with that. So we're going with hip dips here. It's 10 reps. And then it's knee drive into the chest. From there, we're going to do a body saw. Now the body saw is 12 reps. Glutes are engaged, stomach is tight, rock forward and back. And it's 12 reps here, nice and slow. Once we have the body saw completed, we're going to do the dead bug next. So you're all well aware of the dead bug at this stage. Our core is going to be working, but James is going to squeeze his lower back into the ground. Head and neck is in a neutral position, and nice and slow, he's going to do 10 reps each side, all the way down to with our ankle within 2 inches of the ground, and then we're slowly back up. Again, the most important thing here is that our lower back is squeezed into the ground. We want to be feeling this in our abdominals. If we're feeling it in our lower back, we have to do a regression. Can you just show us a quick regression, James? So slowly down, back up, slowly down, back up. It's 10 each side here. Once you've that done, the last exercise we're going to do is our Russian twists. So we're going to assume position, V position, feet just above the ground, and then big rotation from our torso. And then these are first of 2 rounds. So we're going to go back in. This time, James is going to do the regressions. The knee tucks is as normal. So he's going to go push-up position again, knee all the way up to our elbow. We're going to do 10 and 10. And then he was going to show us the regressions on the other exercises. Again, nice and slow, controlling our breathing as best we can. We're going to do the shoulder touches next in the 4-point position. So our knees are just below our hips. They're going to hover 1 inch above the ground. And then we're going to go shoulder touches nice and slow. So we're going to go on our knees nice and slow for the shoulder touches. Control, it just means we have less weight through our upper body. And we're still getting the same work. It is important in this position to still try get our glutes engaged. It's a little bit more difficult, and also get our stomach engaged. Then next one, we're going to do Superman in a 4-point position. So it's opposite arm, opposite leg, reach out, brace your tummy, and then back in. 6 each side here. So really try, as you are reaching out, we can see James has a little bit of an arch, and that is much better. So we want to maintain that neutral position as best we can. If you can, stick with the exercises from the first round. They're just a slight bit more difficult. It's 6 and 6 here. Once the Superman is completed, we're going to go back into our side plank. Again, we're going to do a slightly easier version this time. So if you can see James's position, he's going to pop. Again, his elbow is directly under his shoulder. He's going to go on one knee, and again he's going to reach around. The rotation part of the exercise is exactly the same, but because he is on one knee, he's got slightly less weight through that left shoulder, and it'll be slightly less work through his abdomen. As you can see here, we're doing the hip lifts. So he's going to do 10 hip lifts. And then instead of the knee tucks, he's just going to assume a normal plank hold. So 2 feet out, this will be the most difficult part for you. Hold, squeeze your top hand. We're going to do 15 seconds. And then James is going to repeat it on the other side. 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's going to be the same on the left elbow. So we're going to go with the regressions again. And as we said, if you can do the more difficult version, go with that. We just want everyone to be working within their own levels. So reaches around again, and deep breath out as you reach up and around. Hip dips are next, so 10 reps on the hip dips. And then it is our plank hold for 15 seconds is what we're going to do here. So really important here is about getting a good setup position. So a nice straight line, shoulder blades retracted, hips towards the camera. And last 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have 3 exercises next. The next one is the body saw. But if this is too difficult, we're just going to assume the front plank position. So this time James is just going to hold the plank, tuck and squeeze, hold, brace as hard as you can. Now we're going to do 20 seconds in this position. Again, if you can do the body saw, go with the more difficult version. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go dead bug next. Again, if you're able to go with the version from the first round, but James is going to go with the slightly easier one. So lower back is squeezed into the ground, knees are bent, slowly up, slowly down. Now we're going to do 10 reps each side here, and then we have one last exercise after this. Slowly down, squeeze, brace. Brilliant work. And we have one last exercise then in this core mobility, day 2. So we're going to go Russian twists. James is going to keep his heels one stacked on top of each other with one on the ground, and we're going to get a full rotation. Again, as I said, if you can keep your feet hovering an inch or two off the ground, do. And big rotations. Up and around, 10 on each side. And that is the core mobility program complete. Great work.